Hi, I'm Jessica, and I will be guiding you through a 60-minute Vinyasa class. Let's go ahead and get started by sitting on our mats, sitting up nice and tall, crowns toward the sky, shoulders are back. Drop one ear towards the shoulder. Let's go to the left side. Keep the chin parallel to the ground. Let's push and press the right shoulder down a little bit more. Just stretch into the side of your neck. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Breathing in and out through your nose. Try to really relax your jaw. And you might reach and crawl out with your right fingertips to intensify the sensation in the pose. Notice if you're slouching or rounding your back. Let's go back to the proper alignment. Start to roll your chin down towards your shoulder. Now chin to chest. Let's linger here for a moment. Roll those shoulders back. Lift the chin. And we'll go to the other side. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Keep that chin slightly leveled, a little bit lifted. You might have more range of motion on one side versus the other. We tend to have one side that's more flexible than the other, maybe more stronger or easier to balance. It's totally normal. That's the beauty of yoga, is we'll over time find more balance. And go ahead and take that left hand, stretch it out to the mat, just to intensify that stretch. Try not to clench your teeth. Slow, steady breaths. Go ahead and tuck that chin towards the shoulder. Roll it around to your chest, chin to the chest. Take a deep breath and lift all the way up. Let's reach our arms all the way up towards the sky. And exhale back down. Inhale, arms up, eyes up to the sky, hands back down on the exhale. Inhale to lift up, into a twist, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you. Eliminate any slouching. Think of lifting up a little taller so your hips are still facing forward. You're really just trying to rotate through your spine, pulling that right shoulder back. Remember to breathe. So keep your left hand on your knee. Take that right arm, reach all the way up and lean over to the left. Reaching high up with that right hand, keeping that left hand on your knee. Try to relax your neck and your head here, no tension. And coming all the way up. Let's change our legs. Let's cross them the opposite way. Same thing, inhale, circle the arms up. Maybe look up, exhale, arms press down. 2 more like this, with the breath up and down. Inhale up, last one. And as we exhale, go into the twist on the opposite direction. This time your right hand is on the left knee. Use that leverage to do your twist, propping yourself up and keeping that spine nice and tall. Go ahead and keep on breathing, deep breaths. The breath is always the highest priority. Keep a hold of your left knee, face forward. Let's move into a side bend, left arm comes up and reaches to your right. Feeling that nice stretch all the way up your left side. Keep your buttocks on the ground. And let's come all the way back. And let's go ahead and straighten our right leg, extend it to the side, bring your left foot in a little bit closer. Side bend to the right, left arm comes up, reaching toward your right foot. Roll that left shoulder back. Keep a nice long extension on the left side. Reach through your fingertips a little more, and then come all the way back up. Plant that left hand down, reach your right hand up and over, and lift those hips off the ground. A little bit of a back bend. And step your hips back down. Now come back towards that right leg, fold back down. Just go to whatever depth you can, whatever is comfortable for you. And go ahead and focus on your breath. If you've gone too deep, you can come back up a little, or maybe you can go a little lower. Let's wake up those hamstrings. Maybe crawl the fingertips out a little bit more. Now come all the way back up. Let's take a seated twist, even deeper. So take that right foot and cross it up over your left knee. Keep both of your sit bones on the mat. Push into your big right toe on the mat. Lift up that right knee. Sit up nice and tall. Now take that left hand, left elbow, and hook it to the inner thigh crease and twist now toward your right. Left elbow to the right knee, and you've got a little more leverage by using that elbow pushing into the thigh. Lift up through the chest, no slouching. And breathe. And let's release. Bring both of our hands behind us. Lift that left leg so your right foot is still hooked on that left knee. Sit back with your hands on the ground and just sway those hips side to side. Maybe if you want it a little deeper, you take that left foot closer towards your buttocks. Or if you need to release a little, then you extend that left leg out a little. And go ahead and keep rocking. Stretching out the glutes. And release. This time, right foot comes in. Stretch that left leg out. You want to feel that left leg open up to the side. Let's start with that side bend. Right arm stretches up and over. Roll that right shoulder back. Nice long stretch and lift through that right side. And breathe. In through the nose, out through the nose. Here's the baby wild thing. You're going to plant that right hand behind you. Left arm comes up and back. Press those hips up and forward. Big stretch. Right knee is still on the ground. It's a baby wild thing. Sit those hips down. Let's face towards that straight left leg and go ahead and fold where you can. It might be a lot tighter in your left side. That's totally normal, especially if these poses are new to you. And breathe. Maybe bring your fingertips out towards your left foot a little more. Go a little deeper if you can. Let's lift all the way back up. Into our twist. This time cross your left foot over the top of your right thigh. You want to have your big left toe pushing into the ground. Both hips anchored to the floor. As you pull that thigh in, reach the right arm up and hook that right elbow to the left knee. Go ahead and twist to your left. Left arm comes behind you, propping yourself from the floor. And breathe deeply and slowly, keeping that nice posture. The emphasis is on length. Crown of the head is rising towards the sky. Rotation is secondary. Lifting comes first. Now let's come forward. We're going to do seated pigeon pose. Taking that left ankle over your right knee. Go ahead and rock back and forth. Again, the closer your right foot is towards your buttocks, the deeper the stretch. And go ahead if you need to release it a little bit and just continue rocking back and forth. And let's release. Okay, tabletop on hands and knees. Place your palms under the shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingertips wide. Moving through cat and cow as you inhale, drop your belly, curl your tailbone up and lift your gaze. As you exhale, reverse this motion, dropping the tailbone, dropping the head. Keep going a few times here with the flow of your breath. Practice distributing your weight evenly. You want to push into your fingertips and your knuckles, not just your palms. Continue the cat-cows. Exhale, round and contract. Come back to a neutral tabletop pose, squeezing those abs. Be flat in your lower back, nice and straight. Take that right leg up, lifted, flat back, flat back. You're going to do big circles with your right knee and right hip without bending your left elbow. Stay in a true tabletop, but just a big circular motion with that right leg. Foot is flexed. A few more, breathing evenly. One more big circle and you're going to step that foot forward to the top of the mat to a low lunge. You want your right knee to be directly over the top of the ankle, and maybe keep our hips down, our left hip down towards the mat. Squaring those shoulders forward, chin up. Lift your gaze a little more, rolling those shoulders back, and then plant your left hand flat to the floor. Bring your right hand to your thigh and push the palm into the thigh as we twist once more. So progressively getting a little bit deeper into our spinal rotation. Breathing through our nose and breathing out through our nose, looking over your right shoulder. And facing forward to the top of the mat, go ahead and push into the right heel as you send your hips back and straighten that right leg. You might need to wiggle that foot a little further in front of you. If the fingertips don't quite reach the floor, you can always do it from higher up and put your hands on your hips. Don't worry about keeping that leg straight if you can't. You can keep a slight bend in the knee. Now let's bend a little forward, pushing that heart toward the right knee. Keep your gaze up. Now let's bend into that front knee, plant your palms and come back to the tabletop pose. Strong through your core. Let's extend that right leg up and back. Pull through your lower belly. And if you'd like to go further, extend that left arm up. Right leg is back, foot is flexed. Right elbow is straight. Two-legged table, it's a challenging pose. If you fall out, don't worry about it. You could always bring your left hand back to the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Now let's point through the back foot. Let your left hand come down. Tap that right foot down on the mat and back up. Let's do that 7 more times. 3, 2, 1. Tabletop, press your hips back towards your heels. Break big toes together to touch. Let's do child's pose, Balasana. Let's take 3 breaths before we repeat on the other side. Just feel the activation in your glutes and your thighs. Feels so nice. Lifting back up, let's do tabletop. Let's go back to cat-cows. Drop the belly, chin up, exhale, round and contract. 2 more cycles of it. Follow your own rhythm. Breath and movement. Fully synced up. And find your neutral tabletop pose. Squeeze and engage through your abs. Take some circles now with your left hip, big circles. Both hands placed on the floor still. Try to keep some weight in your left palm. I know it's hard, but try not to bend that right elbow. A few more. On Jayasana, your low lunge. Left foot comes forward. Remember to keep that knee directly over the top of your heel. You can come up onto the fingertips. That right foot is flat on the mat. Pressing those hips down, lifting our gaze up. And breathe. Big stretch into the right hip and the right thigh. And flatten your right palm to the floor. Bring your left hand to the thigh and push the palm into your leg as you rotate to twist. Left shoulder comes back. Push into that big left toe, don't roll the foot. Looking up towards your left shoulder into the sky. Keeping that right leg on the mat. And let's come into half splits. Send those hips back, readjust that front leg if you need to. You can either be on your fingertips with your chest high. Keeping that front leg bent if needed, or straighten if you can. We're setting up for that 2-legged tabletop pose. Take that leg back, tabletop. Reach that left leg up and straight back. Pointed toe. Square up the hips and the shoulders. Now raise that right hand coming forward if you wish, and balance even more. It's a core strengthening pose. And remember to breathe. Keep reaching out, elongating the pose. Right hand down and pointing your back left toe. Go up and down, touching the ground with your toes. Up and down. Let's do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Balasana, child's pose. Big toes together. If you want to widen your knees this time, go ahead. Wide-legged child's pose. Place your hips towards your heels. Stretch your arms out in front of you and fold down. 5 full deep breaths. Another full breath. Now walk your hands back. Bring your knees hip width distance apart. Tuck your toes, coming up. Sitting your hips on your heels. This is a big stretch through the soles of the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale up. Exhale, other side. Left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, back up. And twist again. Arms straight out, lifting up. Exhale, pressing down one more. Inhale up. Exhale, back to the other side. Right arm forward, up. Left arm forward. Come all the way back up. And release. Let's find our first downward facing dog. From tabletop, see if you can walk your hands a couple inches past your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide, digging into the mat with your fingertips. Now tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back. And let's pump the feet, bending the knees, alternating. Try to get those heels on the mat. Continue pumping each leg. Pushing those hips up to the sky. Keep your back flat and engage that entire body. So both knees can bend a little bit. Think of curling your tailbone up to the sky. Press your chest towards the thighs. Bend your knees a little if you want. Now let's walk our feet forward to the top of the mat, ragdoll fold. Your feet can be wider than your hips. Hold on to the elbows. Just do ragdoll, swaying side to side. Just let yourself dangle. Think of this as decompression for your spine. And breathe. Come back towards the center, release the hands down to the mat. Bend your knees a little bit more here and toe heel your feet so they're only hip distance apart. Sink your hips down as low as possible and lift up into a chair pose, Utkatasana. As you find this pose with our feet hip width apart, keep your knees apart. You don't want the knees to touch. Let's try to keep a gap there. Let's just go ahead and pulse. Hands in prayer. Pulsing up and down. You feel the heat building in your thighs and glutes. Keep the weight evenly. Press to the mat. And press all the way up to stand. Good job. Release your hands down, palms forward. Draw your belly in, lengthen your tailbone down. Open through your heart. Mountain pose. Circle arms up over the head. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand and find a side bend here. You're trying to pull on your right hand. And come all the way back to center. Let's switch sides. Left hand. Left wrist with the right hand, pressing to the right, and all the way back through to center. Release your arms, hands to the hips. Let's come into tree pose, Vrikshasana. Bring your left foot somewhere along the inside of your right leg. You can keep your toes down on the floor. Bending that left leg, you can take it higher towards the inner right thigh. Pressing that left knee open. Don't place it on your knee, you want to avoid that. either on your calf, your ankle, or all the way up on your thigh. Once you feel balanced, go ahead and reach your arms up, growing the tree branches up. Maybe you sway. Just rise nice and tall, nice and mighty, like a beautiful giant tree. Slow and steady breaths. Now start to bring your hands together, lowering them in front of the heart. Now let's release and shake out those legs. Keep that right leg directly where it is and step that left leg all the way back into a lunge. It's a high lunge. Hands to the hips. Let's bend into that back knee, tucking the tailbone. Hips should be directly under your shoulders, so square those shoulders, bending forward with that front knee. Knee directly above the ankle and reach those arms up, nice and high. Biceps by the ears, but dropping those shoulders. If you can find some tiny pulses, that would be great. And you'll start to feel it. Still challenging. Hands to the heart, tilt forward until you can bring your fingertips down to the mat and find plank pose. So step that right foot back to meet the left. Drop your right knee to the floor from here and roll to the inner edge of your left foot and extend that left arm up. Left shoulder's over the right, left hip over the right. Side plank Vasasana. Point your left toe. If you can, inhale, lifting that foot off the floor. Exhale down, just a tap. We'll do 8 of those. 6, 5, reaching that left arm up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look down to the mat, back to tabletop. And let's take a puppy pose. Hips stay over the knees, walking those hands all the way out in front of you and just melt the forehead and chest down towards the mat. Big stretch into your shoulders, into your upper back. And just release and breathe. Pulling your lower belly in a little, keeping those hips directly above your knees. And now let's go forward into Sphinx pose. Belly to the ground, lift the chest up. Hands and elbows are flat on the mat. Exhale down. Let's go ahead and extend our arms in front of us, palms facing in towards us. Keep the back of your neck long. So your feet should be about hip distance apart. As you inhale, alternate by lifting your right arm and your left leg off the floor. And exhale down. Let's switch. Left arm up, right arm lifts, keeping those toes pointed. 2 more on the other side. Exhale down. Inhale up, left arm up, right leg up, and exhale down. Once more. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale back down. Let's press back to an easy child's pose. So this time let's keep our knees together, feet together, and take our hands and arms back towards our feet, down our sides, and put our forehead on the floor. Now let's find a downward facing dog from here. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. Feet are hip distance apart. Lift your hips up and back. Your heels are probably getting a little closer towards the mat as you're becoming more flexible today. Let your head be heavy. Pump the legs if you'd like to shake it out. Pull that navel in. Think of curling that tailbone up towards the sky. Let's come back up to a ragdoll fold. So walk your feet forward in little steps. Just let your chest and belly dangle over your thighs and sway back and forth, grabbing both elbows. Just release it down, swaying like a rag doll. Inhale and exhale. And release your hands to the floor. Bend your knees. Let's narrow our stance. You want your feet and your knees hip distance apart. Bend down as low as possible. Coming up into chair pose. Uttanasana. Hands in prayer at the heart. Let's pulse again. Flattening that back, pumping the legs. Keep the knees apart. Try to rock your weight more back into the heels. Just a few more pulses. And come all the way up to mountain pose. Tailbone down, draw your belly in, lift with your chest. Just close your eyes here. And as you circle your arms up overhead, grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and find a side bend. Inhale to center, let's switch sides. Grab the right wrist and stretch to the left. Coming all the way back, let's release. We're going to lean on the left leg this time, Vrikshasana tree pose. So take that right leg and bend it, keeping the toes down on the floor at your ankle, pressing that right leg open, or if you are more advanced, go ahead and bring that right foot up your left thigh. And just stay balanced. Once you're balanced and centered, go ahead and reach your arms up toward the sky. They're your long tree branches. Do whatever pose you'd like with your arms. Maybe a ballerina pose, maybe a heart shape. Maybe just reaching majestically up towards the clouds. And don't worry if you fall out. It's no big deal. And just focus on your core and opening that right hip. That will help you stay balanced. Start to bring your hands down into prayer in front of your heart and release the leg. Let's shake it out. Hands on the hips. Let's find our high lunge. Take the right foot back as far back as you can get it. Square those hips. You want to bend that front knee directly over the ankle. Make sure there's not a big curve in your lower back. You want to tuck that tailbone down. Arms come up, overhead, reach high, and let's do little pulses. Just really small, deeper bend into that knee. Down and down. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lean all the way forward, hands to the ground. Plank pose, stepping that left foot all the way back, and let's drop our left knee and shin to the floor. Roll to the right, left arm down, right arm reaches up toward the sky, stacking one shoulder over the other. You're really trying to be stable here. Point the right toe. Inhale, see if you can lift the right foot up. Exhale, tap it down. 7 more. Inhale up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tabletop pose into your puppy stretch. Hips over your knees, walk your hands forward. I'll give you another option. You can press your hands together in prayer over the back of your neck. But if it hurts, just go ahead and keep your arms extended. Forehead down on the mat, and we'll just catch our breath. Focusing on the inhale and exhale. Go ahead and come forward back into Sphinx pose. Onto our stomach, stretch the legs behind you, tops of your feet on the mat, and press up with your shoulders, chin up, arms square to the mat, palms down, and exhale, release. Extend your arms out in front of you, palms facing toward. Back of the neck is long. Inhale, left arm up, right leg up. Exhale, down. Let's lift up with our right arm, left leg up, and switch. Inhale on the up, exhale on the down. 2 more. Inhale, right arm, left leg, and down. Inhale, left arm, right leg, down. Last one, right arm up, inhale, and down. Let's press back, easy child's pose. Keep your knees and your toes together, Balasana. Arms reach back. Maybe try swaying a little bit side to side. Stretch your arms out, downward facing dog, just to transition. Hands shoulder width distance apart. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, push into your heels. Paddling the feet, long through your arms. And let's step slowly forward into ragdoll. Just let our bodies dangle. Head hangs heavy. Grabbing those elbows with each hand. Release your hands to the floor, bend your knees. Push into your heels, rolling up inch by inch, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your time. Last is the shoulders and then the head back into Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms facing forward. And from here, take a big step lengthwise in your mat. So your feet are parallel to the short edges of your mat. Square the hips, hands on the hips. Think of activating your quads, chin up, and leading with your heart. You want to bend down to forward fold. Hips go back just a little bit as you fold on down. Releasing your palms down toward the mat and drop your head. A big stretch into our hamstrings and our hips. You might need to readjust your stance a little. Now let's just walk our hands a little bit toward the right and bend the right leg, keeping the left leg straight. And now straighten and go to the other side. And a little left leg bend, right leg stay straight. Now press the left leg straight, walk the hands back to center. Walk your hands forward and lifting that chest. Now turn your heels in, toes out toward the top corners of your mat. Remember your breath. Now walk your hands to the right, bend the right knee, and lift those left toes. You can stay nice and high if you need to, pressing that right hip out, or you can always drop all the way down and push up, switch sides, walk back to the left knee, curl the right toes up off the floor, and go ahead and lower the hips if you can towards the mat, keeping that left leg bent. And now let's come all the way back up and to the center. One more fold. Feet are parallel to the short edges of your mat. Now walk your hands in front of you. Lift your chest, hands to the hip, and you're going to bring the shoulders all the way up using your abs. Pivot the right toes towards the front edge of the mat and squeeze the right knee open, taking a warrior two. Bend that right knee, squeezing it open, pressing that left leg, left hip open. Arms are up, right arm front, left arm back, slow and steady breaths. Maybe you can sink a little bit deeper. And let's straighten the right leg, go right to the other side. So pivot that right foot back to the front and turn the left toes towards this short part of your mat. This time we're bending to the left knee, pressing that left leg open and the right hip open as well. Opposing left arm is up toward the front of your left knee, right arm back, maybe sink down even more. And taking those breaths nice and even. And now press and lift that left knee up. Let's turn the heels and toes out again towards the top corners of the front of your mat. Let's do star pose, reaching up with your arms, and now bend the elbows and both knees bend. Keep those hips open, squeezing those glutes. Inhale, straighten everything back to star. Exhale, goddess pose, sinking down. Let's do two more. Inhale up to star and exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down to goddess. Stay in this deep squat. Hands on the knees. See if you can drop one shoulder down and pull the other one back. And switch sides, left shoulder down, right shoulder back. Opening those inner thighs, come back to center. Push all the way up, look to the top of the mat, and let's step up back to mountain pose. Take our flow. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold all the way down. Feel free to bend your knees here. Half lift, flat back, fingertips to shins. Lift your chest up. Weight is in the balls of your feet. Exhale, release, plank. Palms under your shoulders. Step the feet back, strong through your core. All the way down to your belly. Point your toes back. Push your hands into the floor and engage the muscles in your back. Elbows in, lift through your chest. Exhale, to lower downward facing dog. Press and lift all the way up. This is our last downward dog. Make any movements and adjustments here. I feel good. Lift the tailbone up even higher. Bring your knees down to the floor. Swing your legs out in front of you. Walk forward towards the top of the mat. Flex your feet, legs are straight. Let's work on some core strength. So nice and tall, reach arms in front of you. And hollowing out the belly, lower about halfway, and then come all the way back forward. Exhale back, lowering just a little. Inhale, lift it back. 2 more like this. Exhale down, inhale. Last one, exhale, and inhale forward. Bend into your knees, hold on to the backs of your thighs, and slowly roll all the way down. Slowly with control, and all the way down. Go ahead and lift your shins and your feet parallel with the sky. Push your lower back into the floor. Try to keep your lower back glued to the mat and realign your knees over your thighs. Interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. As you inhale, curl your head and shoulders off towards the mat, and then exhale, lower down. And repeat, inhale up, exhale, lower down. A few more. Keep the elbows open, chin off the chest, shoulder blades lifting off the floor. Inhale up, last one, and exhale down. Bring your feet flat to the floor, about hip width distance apart. You almost want to be able to touch your heels with your fingertips. Let's roll our shoulders down toward the mat. Squeeze into your glutes, lifting up into a bridge. Squeeze those glutes. Keep those thighs aligned. You can kind of push off with your arms onto the floor. Relax your neck and your jaw. And breathe. And carefully roll down inch by inch. Draw your knees in towards your belly and give it a big squeeze. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. One more time, let's interlace our fingers behind our head. This time, let's straighten and lift our legs. Toes pointed. As you inhale, head and shoulders off the mat, and exhale, drop the left leg just a few inches, hovering off the floor. Inhale, curl it back up. Exhale, head and shoulders come down. Inhale, reach through our toes. Right leg comes down, hovering a few inches off the mat, and bring it back up. Inhaling. Exhale, let's lower down. Inhale, shoulders back up. Left leg comes down, right leg stays up. Inhale. And exhale, shoulders to release. Last one, curl back up. This time, right leg down. And right leg back up. And exhale and release. Feet come back flat to the floor, back to the bridge pose. Pushing off, hips going up. Hugging in through your inner thighs. Shoulders pressing against the mat. Keep that chin up, neck open. just activate the glutes here and unfurl inch by inch, releasing it down to the mat. Let's take our right ankle over the left knee. Press that right thigh away from you. If you'd like to go further, you can bring it toward your chest, grabbing with your hands your left thigh or your left knee, taking it a little deeper. Let's keep on breathing and focus on the long inhales and exhales. You've worked hard. Let's start to wind it down a little bit, softening your shoulders and your neck, taking longer, slower breaths. Give that leg one last little squeeze. Set your left leg down, hold on to the back of your right thigh, right foot up, little hamstrings stretch, flex and straighten your toes. And bend into your right knee. Right knee comes to your chest, straighten that left leg. Turning this into a twist, so as you pull that right leg in, now cross your right knee over towards the left side of your mat. Stretch your right arm out. You want to stack the right hip over your left, keeping your chest open. Focusing on your inhale, long and slow, and exhale, come back to center. Bend into both knees. We'll find a reclined pigeon pose on the other side. So take your left ankle on top of your right knee, press out that left thigh away from you. Leave it here or reach through and maybe grab a hold with your hands to your right knee or the back of your right thigh. Shoulders stay on the mat. And breathing nice and deeply. Give it one last little squeeze. Set that right foot down to the floor. Nice hamstring stretch by holding on to the back of the left leg. Flex and point your toe. Pulling toward you with that left leg if you can. Just giving that nice stretch of the hamstring. Now bend. Go ahead and straighten that right leg down to the mat and really pull that left thigh in toward you. Carry it over into a twist, left knee towards the right. Stretch your left arm out. Keep that left shoulder pushed into the mat. And stacking one hip over the other. Chest nice and open, heart towards the sky. Last big breath here. And come back to center. We finish with Shavasana, our final resting pose. Well-deserved rest. Stretching out your arms and legs. Close your eyes. Savasana at the end of every class. Vinyasa. Focus on gratitude and how grateful we are for our bodies and everything they do for us every day. If you're new to yoga, this might be challenging to lay here and do nothing, but this is really encouraged, teaching you to let go as much as possible. Just let your body be heavy and soft into the mat. Think about your awareness into this present moment. Maybe even just focusing on your breath. So we'll just do a few minutes here. Silence. Start to deepen your breath, waking yourself up. A little bit of movement through your fingers, your toes. And stretch your arms up over the head, lengthen it out. And roll to one side gently. Push your hands into the floor to come up. Take a seat. Just sit in whatever way is comfortable for your lower back and your hips. Join your hands together in front of your heart. Close your eyes. And just recognize all the time that you've just made to put yourself first today. The hard work and effort that you've put on this mat. Thank you for coming. Namaste.